20 Key Tips from Dale Carnegie's book, How to Stop Worrying and Start Living. Many people live as if under constant pressure from emotions and anxiety. Everything seems fine on the surface, but inside there's restlessness, a sense that life isn't going the way it should. Work doesn't inspire, living conditions don't satisfy, there's less energy than before, and dreams feel postponed for later. And the longer it goes on, the more often a thought appears. It's like I'm living someone else's life. Dale Carnegie once found himself in a similar place. He asked himself an honest question. What will I gain and what will I lose if I start acting in line with what truly matters to me? And he concluded that trying to change a hateful situation was worth the risk, at least for a chance to feel calmer and happier. Based on his experience, he formulated simple recommendations that helped many people rebuild their lives and reduce anxiety. First, try to live in the present day. When you endlessly worry about a future that hasn't arrived yet, or about a past you can't change, you spend your energy on inner tension. Often the problem isn't that you don't have enough time, but that you're not actually living it. As children, we want to grow up faster. Later, we want to go back to school or college. Later still, it's when things get easier, when I finally take a vacation, when I retire. And then, suddenly, an unpleasant realization hits. A lot has been missed. What shapes tomorrow most is how you use today. Do what's within your control right now, and don't turn yesterday into a punishment. Second, take an example from an hourglass. Only one grain of sand falls at a time. In the same way, it's helpful to do one thing in one time window. Multitasking often doesn't speed things up. It smears your attention and increases the feeling of chaos. Allocate a specific amount of time to a task and do only that. You'll become more effective and calmer. Third, in a difficult situation, try to imagine the worst realistic outcome. Not to scare yourself, but to stop running from the thought. When you inwardly accept that, yes, this could happen too, anxiety often decreases and space appears for action. Indignation and endless complaining rarely change circumstances, but they easily drain your strength. The key is not to get stuck chewing it over, but to move toward what you can actually do. Fourth, facts first, then decisions. Anxiety often arises when you try to make a decision without enough information. A lack of facts triggers panic. Panic leads to mistakes, and mistakes reinforce fear. A closed loop. If you have a deadline, use it to gather data. Write down the facts, even the ones you don't like, assess options, and then act on a plan. But remember, endless thinking without steps also fuels anxiety. Fifth, hold discussions not for the sake of discussion, but for results. Before bringing a problem to a conversation, it helps to answer 4 questions. What is the problem? What caused it? What solutions exist? And which solution do you propose? Often, clarity appears already at this stage. Sixth, remember that staying busy is one of the most accessible ways to reduce anxiety. When you're genuinely engaged in something, it's harder to spiral. You can't hold 2 thoughts equally vividly at once. You switch. That's why meaningful, engaging activity pushes worry to the side. Seventh, use the law of large numbers and ask yourself, what is the probability that what I fear will actually happen? Many fears have no footing in reality. They live only in imagination. Sometimes it helps to treat the fear as a hypothesis and test it with numbers and facts. Eighth, set a stop loss for worry, the way traders set a stop loss in the market. Decide how much attention and energy you're willing to give to negative thoughts. A clear sense of values and your own criterion of what matters to me helps you avoid falling into endless internal debates about what can't be changed. Ninth, don't saw the sawdust. What has already happened can't be redone, just as you can't resaw wood that has already been cut. The only practical value of the past is to calmly analyze mistakes, draw conclusions, and avoid repeating them. After that, let it go. 10th, watch how you evaluate what's happening. The quality of life is largely shaped by what you direct your attention to. To be concerned means to see a problem and calmly do what's needed. To worry means to spin the same thought without action. How you interpret events is an area where you truly have influence. 11th, don't give your enemies power over your mood. Hatred and anger easily interfere with sleep, appetite, blood pressure, and health. If you allow someone to live in your head, you pay for it with your resources. 12th, Lower expectations and don't base your actions on gratitude. If you help from the heart, good. But if you expect people to respond the way you think is right, you risk living in constant bitterness and disappointment. Everyone has their own ideas about fairness and decency. Choose a stance. Give without bargaining for gratitude. 13th, recognize your wealth. Many people don't notice what they already have: health, loved ones, a roof over their head, the ability to work, friends. Sometimes it helps to ask yourself honestly, would you trade this for money? If not, then you have values more valuable than cash. Happiness often begins with focusing on what's good and learning to enjoy what you've already achieved. 14th, unfair criticism is often a disguised compliment. The more visible you become, the more people will react not to you, but to their own feelings, envy, anger, helplessness. You don't have to spend your life explaining yourself. Do what you believe is right and measure yourself by results and by your principles. 15th, remember, people are usually not thinking about you. Most are preoccupied with themselves and how they look in others' eyes. So many situations you experience as a disaster, others either don't notice or quickly forget. Try not to inflate small episodes into major problems. 16th, keep track of your own mistakes and learn from them. Blaming circumstances and other people is easier, but it doesn't increase control. Constructive self-criticism and sober analysis help you grow and see where you can actually do something differently. 17th, learn to relax. Fatigue makes you more vulnerable to anxiety. Rest is needed not only when you're already falling apart, but in advance. Sometimes the best investment in effectiveness is timely recovery. 18th, don't strain where it isn't necessary. Difficult work doesn't have to look like constant muscle tension and tightness. If you're drained by the end of the day, it isn't always a sign of productivity. Often it's a signal you worked in a less than optimal way. 19th, boredom and emotional overload tire you out more than the volume of tasks. Mental work exhausts you not by how much you did, but by a sense of meaninglessness, resentment, rush, anxiety, procrastination, and constant distractions. Simplify your environment. Clear your desk, plan your day ahead, do the important things in order, handle small issues immediately, and organize your work so you don't drown in details. Delegate and supervise, otherwise you'll live in everything is on me mode. And one more thing, don't stew in anxiety alone. People need someone who can listen and understand. 20th, reduce anxiety about insomnia. Often the fear, I won't fall asleep, is more harmful than a sleepless night. If sleep won't come, get up and do something calm until you feel drowsy. Remember that many people can handle an occasional short night, but constant spiraling makes it worse. And physical activity, especially regular exercise, helps unload the nervous system. If you found this video useful, please like it, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell so you don't miss future episodes. And write in the comments which books or topics interest you. Quite possibly they'll become the basis for the next videos.